I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into a jaw-dropping true story that blends injustice, betrayal, and redemption. We're talking to a terrific author. His name is Frank Hozeska, and he has penned a powerful book. It is called Mad Druggist. It is a gripping real-life journey through the dark side of the pharmaceutical world, where one man's career is crushed by a corrupt system. If you're into shocking true stories, medical drama, or spiritual comebacks, this one is for you. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Bookside Press for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Frank, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you for letting me have this spotlight, and so I can tell my story because it's so unique. I have to tell the world, and it's pretty much a godsend. And I just thank you for letting me tell the story.
Well, it's my pleasure. Glad to have you on the show. This book is powerful. This is your story?
Yes, sir.
Tell us where it all begins. What happens? Give us the takeaway.
Okay, well, you're going to have to go way back to 1986.
Mhm.
This is where it all started. When God literally threw a huge ball of fire right down on me. It was as big as the moon. You see in the news all these meteors coming to Earth. This one actually came right at me in the middle of the night. And I thought, right before it turned me into dust and the rest of the world around me, I prayed, forgive me, Father. This is it. This is the way I'm going to go out, and everybody around me. And I couldn't believe it. And right as soon as asked God to forgive me, boom, like that, the ball of fire turned into light all around me. And here I am standing in the middle of the light, 2:30 in the morning, nobody around me. And, I could feel God's presence and I could feel his protection. And I knew he was telling me to trust him and to fear him.
Mm.
And he was also telling me he wanted me to do something. He wasn't literally telling me, but I got this feeling like, okay, now what am I supposed to do? You throw this huge ball of fire at me. What am I supposed to do with it? Go and save the world? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, now I got that big responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm like, like, what am I supposed to do with this? And so then uh, I started working as a pharmacist, and I started getting fired all the time
Hmm.
for ridiculous reasons. And I always did my job. I always was there. I did my work, never called in sick. I did my job. But sometimes some types of circumstances caused me to get fired.
Yeah.
And I was getting fired and fired. And then I decided, I gotta write about all this.
Yeah.
And so I started writing about, because a lot of it was funny, but a lot of it was sad because, I kept losing my job, and I was in the unemployment line. Over my 30 years, I was in the unemployment line a lot.
Mm.
And that's where I got the time to write my book, because I was always out of a job.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I started writing and that writing about getting fired, because like I was upset and sad and depressed, and I had a bad taste in my mouth about my choice of a career, and I couldn't believe why I was getting fired.
Mm.
And then, by writing and writing, it was like a therapy.
Mm.
It was a therapy for me because, I could laugh and cry and, everything else that I put into my book. And then after that, it became 30 years later, after all my firings, it became the mad druggist. Not that I was mad,
Yep.
I went to the gym and punched the bag,
Yeah,
but, kind of like Alfred E. Newman, the mad, mad world, it
exactly.
drove me crazy. And I was like, well, my father always said, just take lemons and make lemonade. And,
Mhm.
I was trying to do my best to make good out of something bad, you
Mhm.
know. And then and also I could see that when I was going through all this, I was like, you know what? Maybe this book can help people, younger people, anybody who gets fired all
Mm.
the time. They don't have to go and take revenge on everybody. They can just, like what I did is every time I got fired, I always said, God has a better plan. And
Yeah,
I told that to the boss instead of going, getting mad and all this and that. I'd say, you know what? God just has a better plan. And
absolutely.
then I thought to myself, I've been fired so many times. And if somebody watches my book, or what I would like to make a movie out of it,
Hmm.
that the people watching it, like the young kids who are into all this nonsense, when they get fired, they get upset and all this. Well, if they can see that Louie in the book got fired 10 times and he never took revenge, all he kept saying was, God has a better plan. God
Hmm.
has a better plan. God has a better plan. And I want to instill this into the young people because they can look at Louie and see, look how many times Louie got fired in the book or in the movie. He did not once take revenge. He just said God has a better plan. And so that was my goal. And so then, I went to Hollywood and I was doing auditions and stand up comedy and I was writing screenplays and, you know, I was on Sunset and Fairfax. I was like the
Mm.
pharmacist with the stars and all the movie stars and all the producers. Everybody came in. I was dating Jamie Lee Curtis's stunt double, and she was the president of all the stunt people. And I knew people. I would hang out at Paramount Pictures, but nobody wanted my movie scripts. Not
Mm.
not even not even the dudes I hung out with, and they were producers at Paramount. They just didn't want to do it.
Mm.
Like we don't want to do that kind of movie right now. It's like it's not a blockbuster. It sucks. Stick to your day job so you're not a starving pharmacist. And what I tell people nowadays is you've heard of a starving artist? What about a starving pharmacist? I'm a starving pharmacist. In fact, right now I got $200 in my bank account
Wow.
because of all the credit cards I've spent and all the money I spent on my investment. I call it a nightmare investment
Mhm.
because, okay, to tell you the truth, uh, it took years and years of work and comedy and acting and writing to build up my repertoire,
Mhm.
and the spirituality. And like everything kind of I wanted to make it the best I could make it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did all that out in Hollywood, and I didn't get a break, and so then it became a book, and I thought, well, if nobody wants my movie script, I'll write a book about it, and then I started writing the book, and uh, you know, it just took a lot of hard work of years and years and years because every time I would get fired, I would just write everything down, and so
Mhm.
in a 30-year span, I got fired enough. But being with a sense of humor that I had, I just like, okay, I'll just make a joke out of this, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
And so and then I wrote the book about it, and it was a lot of hard work, 30 years, and it was a nightmare investment.
Mhm.
And then I got divorced because of the nightmare investment. She didn't want any more part of me. And, so must I go on? And then so then I tried to redeem myself. And geez, all the people that fired me, they're like, oh, I would try to get my job back after I got fired. I got fired by every chain store in America. And then I would call them back, maybe a year or two later. Oh, can I, they're looking, there's like a ad in the paper. And I call them back, can I put my, name in for the application? And they're like, yeah, aren't you that guy that said BS to one of your customers? I said, yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, we can't hire you because you said that magic word, And so went on and on and on, and it got to a point where I would call these chain stores to get my job back, and right when they asked me who I was, they'd hang up on me because they're like, "Oh, we fired you already. We're not going to hire you back." So then, I don't know if I want to tell you the end, but the book is different than the movie script I wrote. The movie script has my ex-wife in it, which makes it juicier. And she did not leave me till after I spent all my money on my dream and my book. And she didn't want to have any part of it. So she left me for I've got more money than time, Bobby. She usually people have more time than money, but not Bobby. She found
Right.
Bobby. So anyway, that's what happened. And so now I'm just trying to recoup and get out of credit card debt. And let me tell you one thing, though. Of all the chain stores in the United States that fired me, I even got fired in Hollywood on Sunset and Fairfax because one of the producers came in. He was doing a movie with Dan Aykroyd, and he told me, "Oh, Frank, somebody shorted me 5 Vicodin tablets." And I knew the producer. So I was like, "Hey, don't worry about it. We miscount all the time. I'll just give you the 5 we owe you." Because I knew him. He came in every month. He needed 30 tablets. I guess he fell on the set and hurt his back. So then the one of my techs who was gay wanted to go out with me. And I said, "You know what?" I said, you're not my type. You're not my type. And so he went and told the manager on Sunset and Fairfax that Frank the pharmacist is giving away narcotics to the movie people in Hollywood so they'll produce his movie. And then they fired me. And then I found out later that my supervisor was doing the same thing. And she said the reason she fired me was because she was jealous that I wrote a movie script. And I was like, I can't believe all this nonsense. And so I was like, okay, the worse my life got, the better my book, the better my movie got. So I'm
True.
like, just bring it on, because I'm going to get the last laugh in the end. So
Wonderful.
yeah, I just kept writing and writing, and I needed to get something positive out of it. And like I said, I got a sense of humor, so I try to
Yeah.
make things funny, drugs and jokes. That was my life. And
Yeah.
so I kept doing that. And in the end, I just have to say, of all the chain stores that fired me and didn't want to give me another job, and I was like, in the end, guess who saves me? The
CBS.
Palestinians. The Palestinians. They're the only one who gave me a job,
Oh,
and they are making it possible for me to pursue my dream because
wonderful.
I work for Hyatt Pharmacy in Milwaukee, and it's run by the Palestinians, and they love me. They love my
Wonderful.
book. My supervisor says, "Frank, bring your book to work and show it to everybody." Well, when I went to other pharmacies and brought my book to work, they fired me. Yeah, and
Amazing.
they fired me because they said it's causing too much commotion around here and we can't have that. It's unprofessional. I'm like, it's just a book, you know? I'll tell you, Walgreens fired me for bringing my book to the pharmacy. And
Amazing.
I was like, oh man, now what am I going to do? I need my money to pursue my dream. Well, guess what? I get a call from the Hyatt Pharmacy, the Palestinians. They're going, Frank, we love your book. We love how you treat our pharmacies customers. Like I dance in the pharmacy, I tell jokes. I make them have a good time,
Yeah.
It's like I get to know them. I'm
Yeah, you have some
friendly.
personality.
And
You
even
bring, yeah, you bring a lot to
yeah,
the
and
job.
my
I mean, I think,
supervisor, he even put I dance in the pharmacy, and he puts it on all the website for all the Hyatt people to see me dancing and interacting. And so
wonderful.
I'm like, this is the way it should be. I mean, I do a good job, I do good works, and you shouldn't fire a guy just because some crazy incident. Well, I could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
My book, the reason I get fired, are so ridiculous. I had to write a book. So
Well,
that's it.
we're glad you wrote the book. We're glad the book has a happy ending. We're glad you're doing well there at Hyatt. We hope it has an even better happy ending. I hope this book is turned into a film and your screenplay is picked up. That would be terrific because your stories are sensational and they are a real boost to people out there who have challenges in their life. You've handled everything with humor. You've handled things with faith. You've handled things with dignity, and you've
Yeah.
done a great job in taking those lemons and turning them into lemonade, without a doubt. The name of the book is Mad Druggist. It is a
Yeah.
gripping real life journey through the dark side of the pharmaceutical world, where one man's career is crushed by a corrupt system. If you're into shocking true stories, medical drama, or spiritual comebacks, this book is for you. Hollywood, if you're listening, this would be a great film. Frank, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much, Logan, and God bless.
God bless you, sir. Thank you for your time and your insight. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.